The rain that had disrupted the morning qualifying session was holding off for the second of the September races in the 2021 Finstown Castle Hotel Formula Boss Championship. Michael Roche was on pole, with Syllvie Mullins joining him on the front row this time, with a much better chance of getting out ahead of Paul O'Connell, who found himself against the wall on row 4. Not listed on the grid for this race, despite an early arrival at Mondello this time, Jonathan Files was struggling to make it out on track at all, with the newly supplied wiring loom that had to be rewired.
First time I was ever organised for a race, and turns out we missed qualifying as well anyway due to an electrical fault.
He had got into the thick of things in race 1 before the early safety car laps.
We have it sorted now. The engine wise is all perfect, and then we had a safety car came out in the race and I got clipped from the safety car.
He had to pit immediately, having been clipped by another competitor during the safety car laps.
Broke the rear mounting on the hub. We have one coming from the garage in Meath there at the moment, so we should have it here shortly.
As the Vantage Point video cameras were being positioned for the race, the parts were arriving less than half an hour before the start. The replacement hub was fitted and the Lola would make it to the grid on time. On the warm-up lap, pole sitter Michael Roche in the 2000cc F3 Dallara was definitely working on getting temperature into his brakes. I'd say he has a strategy for the first corner. He'll need it up against the 4000cc Gould of Syllvie Mullins, who shares the front row of the grid. Aaron Cochran was missing from third place on the grid, with a recurrence of that fuel rail problem that Paul O'Connell had with that car last year. Whoa, that was a bit close between Michael Connolly and Paul O'Connell there. These cars need a lot of space for warming up. Noel Robinson was also missing from 6th place on the grid after misfortune in race 1. The question now was whether Jonathan Files could repeat his incredible performance from the Leinster Trophy race at Kirkestown and go from the back of the grid all the way to 2nd by the checkered flag. He looks motivated. Roche looks composed before the start. Mullins even risks a little bit of tyre warming in the Gould, whose transmission can be its Achilles heel. Michael Roche's prayers for rain at this last race of the Irish Championship Circuit Racing Weekend 4 went unanswered. A wet track would lessen the power advantage of some of his rivals. Tyres warmed, brakes up to temperature. They take their positions. And the race begins! Michael Roche gets the start that he needs. Syllvie Mullins holds up Fergus Faherty there, and Paul O'Connell wins the drag race with Eamon Matheson. Roche leads around turn 1 from Mullins and Fergus Faherty. 4th place Michael Connolly. Paul O'Connell passes Daniel Faherty up to 5th. Matheson leads Greenan, Files, Rabbit and Doherty. Back in towards the paddock, Roche has a bit of a lead on Syllvie Mullins. Fergus Faherty in 3rd and Paul O'Connell now up to 4th after passing Michael Connolly. Matheson has passed Daniel Faherty to get the sports cars together. Then it's still Greenan, Files, Rabbit and Doherty. Michael Roche leads into Tarzan 1 in his F3 Dallara, but he has very close company. There's Syllvie Mullins. And Paul O'Connell now in 3rd ahead of Fergus Faherty. Behind them, Eamon Matheson has overtaken Michael Roche up to 5th to lead the sports cars. Tony Greenan, an ex-sports car driver, will be keen to get ahead of them. Files looks like he might have an engine issue coming out of Tarzan 2. Rabbit has moved up a position and Doherty is threatening. Syllvie Mullins now has to defend against Paul O'Connell while he plans his attack on Michael Roche. Paul O'Connell takes the outside line into the final corner to get the inside up the main straight. He crosses the line ahead of Syllvie Mullins. Behind them, Michael Connolly struggles to stop. Tony Greenan gets one sports car. Out of turn 1, Mullins has 2nd back. He must have had the right line for the corner. Michael Connolly fights back on the straight. Shane Rabbit has a go at slingshotting Daniel Faherty. Roland Doherty has made it past Files on the bends, but the Lola has the legs on the straight and takes his position back. Towards the paddock again, and these three look even tighter bunch this time. O'Connell looks around Mullins. Fergus Faherty in 4th leaves them to it. Eamon Matheson 5th. Tony Greenan 6th. Michael Connolly 7th. And Daniel Faherty is 8th, under threat there from Shane Rabbit up the inside. Mullins draws up alongside Roche after the long straight and kink before Tarzan 1. But Michael holds the line to stay out in front. Tony Greenan is now well clear of Michael Connolly to go after Eamon Matheson. Michael looks down on performance. Daniel had a little look past there. Files is ahead of Shane again, and Roland follows. Mullins makes a move on Roche, going into the last corner of the lap. But Michael firmly has the line. But Roche can't defend the whole track. Syllvie's made the space to go by, and with 1200 horsepower between them, Paul O'Connell follows. Files' Lola does not seem to be on full power, however, and he is continuing to seesaw at the back of the field. Shane Rabbit has got caught behind him after an attempted manoeuvre, and Roland Doherty looks like he can capitalise. Greenan starts lap 3. Behind Michael Connolly, Files slingshots Daniel Farty, and Rabbit and Doherty are neck and neck. Both clear of Roche, Paul O'Connell starts to work on Syllvie Mullins, and Fergus Farty looks like he's keeping in touch with Michael. Eamon Matheson in 5th place would be a bit of a benchmark for Tony Greenan, who's moved from the sports car into the F3 Dallara that Aaron Cochran had been campaigning so well earlier this season. Despite not running 100%, it looks like Files is now ready to approach Michael Connolly, the leaders out on the international section of the track. Mullins fishtails slightly, an indication of how hard he's pushing to stay ahead of Paul O'Connell. The GP2 driver considers that inside line that's sometimes possible here. A little breakaway from the Dallara shows these two are on the absolute limit. They are well matched through here. This could be the battle of the season. And at the same time, Fergus Farty is closing on Roche. Now that's a sight to behold. Two 600 brake horsepower cars at full tilt down the straight at Mondello. Michael Roche wins back a bit of ground from Fergus Farty. Mullins under pressure from O'Connell through the corners. Back at the line, Tony Greenan has closed in a bit on Eamon Matheson. Behind him in the pack that he broke away from, Connolly seems to have secured his 7th place from Jonathan Files. And Shane Rabbit leads Daniel Farty and Roland Doherty. Mid-lap 4, back in towards the paddock. The contest continues. When it comes to straight line speed and power, there's nothing between the two of them. It's just in the corners the more modern GP2 car is able to reel in the Gould slightly. He's holding him here, but there's definitely not enough margin for a passing manoeuvre. Mullins checks his mirrors, deciding his line for the next corner. It's slightly defensive, but it lines him up nicely for the descent down through Baran's bends. Mullins working the curbs. Perhaps he has a little bit more confidence in his chassis. O'Connell definitely doesn't want to get kicked into a spin today. That effort has earned him a little bit of ground as they start lap 5. We're only about midway into the race. Remember, these guys are racing their own cars. It takes huge trust in each other to dice like this. Michael Roche working hard to secure 3rd place from Fergus Farty. In the distance we see orange first instead of green. That means Tony Greenan has passed Eamon Matheson up to 5th. That's progress already on day 1 with the new car. Further back we see that Michael Connolly has dropped out of position behind the single-seaters. Jonathan Files has dropped back completely. Shane Rabbit in the Formula Renault leads them in 7th position. Daniel Farty 8th, Roland Doherty 9th, Michael Connolly 10th, and Jonathan Files has it all to do again. Back at the front, the battle continues. O'Connell appears to be keeping a polite distance, but does that mean a manoeuvre is imminent? They blast up over the crest into Tarzan 1, and O'Connell shows a little bit of braking dominance on the entry to the corner. Syllvie looks a little unsettled overdoing the acceleration there. Paul drifts slightly too. He's piling on the pressure. The Gould has to take the slightly slower defensive line. Paul O'Connell's is optimal. It's not enough for a passing manoeuvre, but there's nothing between them as they start lap 6. O'Connell attempts a run around the outside on turn 1, but Syllvie holds the line. That's where it could all go wrong. 3rd and 4th are maintaining distance. Roland Doherty is threatening Daniel Farty's 8th. Boss Racing providing action at both ends of the field. O'Connell composing himself for another attack. This time he works the inside going into Tarzan 1. This costs him more momentum than the other approach. This time Syllvie keeps it tidy. O'Connell slides into the beginning of the corner but still maintains a high exit speed. The Gould always seems to have the edge here. Perhaps it's the larger wing on the off-camber right-hander. The GP2 again loose on that left-hander. Paul uses a bit more curb this time and has gained a tiny bit more ground on Syllvie. Can he make this manoeuvre work this time? I'd say he's half a car length closer than he was the last time entering the straight. It looks like it could work. They're side by side as they pass our fixed camera. O'Connell works the outside line again, sideways around Mullins, and he's out in front. Michael Roche is stretching it out from Fergus Faherty in third as they start lap 7. Tony Greenan is having a much better second race in the F3 Dallara. He must be happy with his investment. Paul O'Connell leads Syllvie Mullins. It's a real credit to both these drivers that they could fight that close at that speed and keep it clean. Eamon Matheson 6th in the Jade. Shane Rabbit with the Formula Renault leading the two Dallaras of Fergus Faherty and Roland Doherty. Behind them we see that Jonathan Files is catching Michael Connolly, who has been dropping back. Both these cars are still quite fast even when they're not going right. O'Connell streaks ahead, but Mullins hasn't quite lost touch yet. After Kirkestown, neither driver could be more aware that the race isn't over till the checkered flag. The Gould again is very strong through these corners. A little slide from O'Connell shows he's still under pressure here. With clear road in front of him, we see how much speed Paul O'Connell had to begin that manoeuvre on this section. He begins to build a lead at the start of lap 8. Syllvie Mullins looking a little bit ragged trying to keep up here. Mullins does have a championship lead to maintain. It's being helped by Michael Roche's position ahead of Fergus Faherty here. Tony Greenan is ready to toast anyone that tries to catch him now in 5th place. But it doesn't look like anyone's going to do that today. As our leaders continue lap 8 in the background, in the foreground we see that Daniel Faherty is quite close to Shane Rabbit on lap 7. Eamon Matheson completing that lap has dropped back quite a bit towards them. Roland Doherty is 9th. Michael Connolly is 10th. And at the line we see the distance to Jonathan Files in 11th. It's just a matter of concentration now for Paul O'Connell. He keeps it tidy here. Michael Roche, en route to another victory in the Boss 2 category on the day, will have seriously boosted his championship hopes. Fergus Faherty leads the category and is also in contention overall. O'Connell starts lap 9. Tony Greenan in 5th, in his new steed, has made great ground ahead of Eamon Matheson. The self-designed Jade has definitely been the fastest sports car on the day. The big contest in the latter stages of the race is definitely between Shane Rabbit and Daniel Faherty. The Dallara driver has definitely gained confidence since his spins in qualifying in the morning. He's all over the back of the Formula Renault. Files finally catches Michael Connolly and moves himself back into the top 10. These two are close to each other in both the overall and their class championships. So even with ailing cars, their positions are significant. Eamon Matheson might be pacing himself in 6th ahead of these guys. The GP2 Dallara has run like clockwork for 4 races now. Whereas that sounds to me like Syllvie is avoiding a gear. Was he nursing the car in that battle? That looks like quite a lot of wear on the inside of Michael Roche's tyres. He probably worked them very hard in front of Syllvie Mullins and Paul O'Connell earlier. Paul O'Connell starts our 10th and final lap. I wonder could developments on Syllvie's car over the winter bridge this gap. Tony Greenan is still enjoying lap 9 in 5th place. I think Fergus Faherty is catching Michael Roche's 3rd place as they start their last lap. Eamon Matheson has probably maintained enough of a distance from that 7th, 8th and 9th place battle, which is still live behind him. Roland Doherty looks quite close to Daniel Faherty at this point. But here it looks like he's ready to have a go at Shane Rabbit. The Dallara is tight in behind the Renault as they start their final lap. Files takes a huge amount of curb here. Is he trying to shake the misfire out of the car? He's still 10th with Michael Connolly 11th. They cross the start line for the 10th time. The international circuit at Mondello is sufficiently long that no one has been lapped in this race, a relief to commentators. Paul can cruise around the last corner. He's done the hard work already in this race. And at the drop of the flag, he's won every race that he's completed this year. But due to a few non-starts and a couple of non-finishes with the GP2 car, it's this man, Syllvie Mullins, who looks on course to win this year's Boss Ireland Championship with the Gould. He takes it very handy across the line. But there's no let up for Faherty and Roche. Fergus has a look around the outside of Michael at the last corner. It's a drag race to the finish. But Michael holds it in the end. Tony Greenan is a satisfying 5th. But behind him, Eamon Matheson has dropped right back. And Daniel Faherty has got up the inside of Shane Rabbit. He's the nose ahead. Takes 7th place at the line. Roland Doherty is 9th. Jonathan Files will complete a difficult day in 10th position. Michael Connolly is 11th. Both drivers are capable of much higher placings. The penultimate day of the 2021 season really delivered some great action from Formula Boss Ireland. In the overall championship, Syllvie Mullins now leads Fergus Faherty by 31 points. Michael Roche has closed right in on Aaron Cochran. In the Boss 1 championship for over 2 litre cars, Eamon Matheson is hanging on in there at the top. Tom Cochran really lost out after his excursion on the first race. Syllvie Mullins has moved up to 2nd. In Boss 2, Michael Roche's 2 wins in the category have moved him right up behind Fergus Faherty and displaced Aaron Cochran, who missed that 2nd race today. We spoke to the top 3 drivers as they packed up.
Michael, you're just packing up after a great weekend.
Yeah, good day, yeah, thank God, yeah, for a change, yeah. We just gathering up now, all good. 2 thirds and I suppose first and the 2nd place on the grid.
Yeah, a nice bit of time in the lead of both races.
Yeah, I got me moment in the bit of glory there, so I try and keep them holding off for a few laps anyway, but it didn't last that long. I think they were holding each other up. But that was good. It was nice. I got a close up at the battle there as well for a lap as well. So
yeah, I think they didn't get away from you that much either.
No, not too much. No, it'd be nice to have another little bit of power, but sure, we might have to work on that now.
or work on the rain dance because it's coming a bit late.
Jeez, yeah, that's why I slowed up there, and then next thing Fergus appeared. But that was good, all good.
Syllvie, your car just about to disappear back into the trailer.
Yeah.
Still in one piece?
Still, thank God. There was moments there I thought I wouldn't be in one piece. It was good fun though. Great fun.
That must be one of the highest paid battles that's happened here for many years.
Yeah, look, we were neck and neck. I just couldn't hold on. I held them for long enough. Third gear went, so I was going from second to fourth and fourth to second, and I had to give up for a finish. But still, it was a good race. It was a great race. Even if I think I got third gear, I don't think I'd have held him. Tell you the truth. Once he got out, he had. There was places where he was quicker in the faster stuff, and the slower stuff. Then I could hold my own with him. But look, it was still good fun. I enjoyed every minute of it, and so did he. So look, that was the main thing.
It was a real thrill to everybody watching. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So everybody said they enjoyed it anyway. So look, yeah, it was good. Cars, good. We had a little few issues earlier, but we seem to have solved them again as usual. There's always something with them. But yeah, look, thanks to the three lads again. Look, we're always pulling and dragging and trying to get it ready. And look, yeah.
A luxurious 3 weeks off there.
Luxurious 3 weeks off. That's it. Yeah, last weekend. Yeah, look, we got. Main objective was max points, so which we got. So yeah, I think we're not far off wrapping it up now. I don't think we need very little anyway, just to finish one race and do us, I think. So yeah, that was the main goal. But at the same time, when Paul is beside you or in front of you or behind you, you can't let him go. So whatever.
Thanks for not letting me away with us.
Yeah, no worries.
Well, that must be one of the highest speed battles that's happened here in Mondello for a number of years.
Quite possibly, and it's usually myself and Syllvie or that, he's the usual culprit for it anyway, in fairness to him. Yeah, great battle, certainly 2 600 horsepower single seaters going head to head and treating them as if they were just I don't know, a couple of fiestas or something. Good fun, great driver. Syllvie's a great driver. I've been racing against him for 20 years. I think at this stage one of us has to take up golf. It's going to be better for everyone. But it's not going to be me. So, no, very good. Excellent driving by Syllvie. Great work by the lads. So we finally cracked a bit. We're making great progress with the setup in the car. It's actually working properly and stuff. So we're delighted with the day now. The way the day has gone is really, really good. So yeah, chuffed to bits, and certainly was a good. I hope it was a good show. I look forward to looking back on it whenever I get home tonight at some stage.
And we won't see you at the next one. What are you up to?
Yeah, well, I don't know. It was for some strange reason the guys I drove the car for in Italy a couple of months ago. They want to run 2 cars at the next Boss GP round in Monza in October, which is the same weekend as here. And for some reason, I don't know. They mustn't have anyone else's number on the phone, so they asked me would I drive the same car again, the number 40 car again. So yeah, off to Monza in 3 or 4 weeks, which I'm trying not to think about because that stuff happens to other people. But yeah, no, great opportunity, and I obviously couldn't turn it down. Always wanted to try and race at a proper F1 track, and yeah, so unfortunately missing the next Formula Boss round, but we'll be back.
Well, we'll be thinking of you while we're enjoying ourselves here.
Well, we possibly may have Aaron in the red car again, hopefully, if he doesn't get sorted in the meantime. It was a pity that he had a bit of unreliability with the fuel rail cracking, but we'll get that fixed and banked, corrected for him, and hopefully if he needs a car for the next time out, we won't see him stuck.
You're sending a delegate?
I'm sending a delegate, yeah. He can drive it, I've told him it's fine, he can drive it no problem as long as he doesn't drive it slow and as long as he wins. That's the important thing. Either bend it or win.
Best of luck at Monza.
Cheers, thanks a million to everyone, and well done to everyone, especially all the marshals out there today. It was miserable this morning and we couldn't do it without them, and just glad that we could put on a decent show for them. Can't race without them, so huge thanks to everyone. Great event.